Welcome to the Coin Atlantis channel, the old and rare coins channel. Do not forget to click on the like button and activate the subscription bell until you receive all new on our channel. Top 14 Most Valuable Lincoln Penny Era Coins. U.S. pennies produced from 1909 to 1958 are known as Lincoln pennies. They get their name from the 2 ears of wheat that appear on the reverse. And despite their humble face value, some of them can be worth a lot of money. These include error coins, produced as a result of mistakes made by the mint. Error coins are, by definition, rare things. And that means some collectors are prepared to pay high prices to acquire them. So just how much are they worth? That's what we'll find out, as we take a tour of the most valuable Lincoln penny errors out there. 14 Most Valuable Lincoln Penny Errors Coin. 1. 1943 Double Die Obverse Wheat Penny. Double die coins result from an error during the production of the dies from which coins are struck. The dies usually have to be struck several times to capture every detail of the design. And if there's any movement between strikes, a double image will be left on the die. That double image is then transferred onto the coins struck by the die. If the double image is on the die with the obverse design, the error is known as a double die obverse. You may see the abbreviation DDO in coin catalogs. If the double image is on the reverse, it's a double die reverse, or DDR. In 1943, one of the dies used to strike the obverse design at the Philadelphia Mint had a double image. This particular form of doubling is known as distended hub doubling. And the double image was very pronounced, the strongest example of a double die error on any Lincoln cent. In fact, the doubling is most obvious on the letters of the word Liberty, and on the lower parts of the digits 9 and 3 in the date. Values vary according to the condition of the coin. A circulated example in a low grade is worth around $30. That climbs to $100 for a coin in about uncirculated condition, AU 55. And an uncirculated example graded MS 65 will be worth around $15,000. 2. 1943 D. Repunched mint mark. Don't have a mint mark. But if they were minted elsewhere, a letter will tell you the location. Coins stamped with AD were struck at the mint facility in Denver. And in 1943, some of the wheat pennies minted there were mistakenly punched more than once with their mint mark. This error is known as a repunched mint mark, often abbreviated to RPM in coin catalogs. The first mint mark appears below and to the left of the second, stronger mark. Examples graded F12, fine, are worth about $75, while about uncirculated examples are around $200. As ever, uncirculated coins are the most valuable. Mint state coins range in value from around $1,000 to $25,000 for the finest examples. 3. 1944 DS. Sometimes you'll find mint marks for more than one location on the same coin. That was the case for some of the wheat pennies minted in 1944. These have a D mint mark for Denver stamped over an S mint mark for San Francisco. They were struck in Denver, but somehow a die with the S mint mark was mistakenly used. The coins that resulted from this error had the S buffed out, and a new D mint mark punched in its place. But if you look carefully, you can still see the ghost of the original mark. Circulated examples in fine condition are worth about $75, rising to $260 for coins graded about uncirculated. But if you want to get your hands on a mint state coin, you'll need to spend some serious cash. Values range from $4,000 to $50,000 for the very finest examples. 4. 1936 Double Die Obverse. Among the wheat pennies struck at Philadelphia in 1936 are a number of examples of a double die obverse error. Here the doubling is most evident on the motto "In God We Trust" and on the word Liberty. It's also clear on every digit of the date. Even examples in lower circulated grades can fetch around $100. But prices rise somewhat slowly from there. You can find about uncirculated, AU 55, examples for around the $200 mark. A gem quality MS 65 example is about $600. and the finest known specimens are worth around $100,000. 5. 1909 S over horizontal S. 1909 is a key date for wheat pennies, and good quality examples even without errors can command serious money. But some of the coins minted in San Francisco also have an interesting error, a second S mint mark punched over the first. The first mint mark was positioned horizontally, at 90 degrees to the second. It's hard to spot this error without a loupe or microscope. But look closely, and you'll see the edge of the first S protruding from the curve on the right-hand side of the second. Values for circulated coins are around $100, with about uncirculated examples valued at around $250. But the finest known examples are red pennies graded MS67. There are 5 of these in existence, and the last time one was sold at auction was in July 2022. That coin fetched an astonishing $32,900. 6. 1917 double die obverse. The wheat pennies minted in Philadelphia in 1917 are another example of coins that include a double die obverse error. The doubling here is most obvious on the words "In God We Trust," as well as on the date, particularly the 9 and the second one. Examples in circulated grades command prices of around $200. In about uncirculated condition, the value is around $1,500. Prices for mint state coins start at $3,750 for a brown coin graded MS60. But the finest known example is a single red penny graded by the PCGS MS67 Plus. That last sold at auction in 2019, achieving a price of $120,000. Today, the PCGS estimates its value at $135,000. 7. 1922 No D. The 1922 wheat penny includes another example of a mint mark error. It occurred in some of the coins struck at the mint facility in Denver. You might imagine that the absence of a mint mark means that the coin was struck in Philadelphia. But in fact, no wheat pennies were struck in Philadelphia that year. The absence of a D was the result of overzealous polishing of a Denver die, removing the mint mark. Some coins have a very faint D. These are more valuable than standard 1922 D pennies, but less valuable than those that have no mint mark at all. One thing to look for is the strength of the strike on the obverse. Genuine no D 1922 pennies are usually weakly struck. If your coin has good detail elsewhere, particularly on the motto "In God We Trust," it's probably a fake. Find the real thing, though, and you could be in the money. 1922 pennies where the D is completely absent start at about $5,000, even for coins in poor condition. Values for about uncirculated and mint state coins depend on whether the reverse is strongly or weakly struck. Coins with a weakly struck reverse are less valuable, though will still command high prices. Color is important too. A brown coin with a strong reverse is valued by the PCGS at $6,350 at AU55, $14,000 at MS60 and $90,000 at MS65. The finest red and brown coin with a strong reverse known to exist is a single example graded MS65 Plus. That's valued at $150,000. And a red coin with a strong reverse graded MS64 is valued by the PCGS at a whopping $275,000. 8. 1955 double die obverse. 1955 was another year that saw some wheat pennies struck with a double die error. In this case, they were minted in Philadelphia. Here, the doubling is prominent across the design. You'll see it in the date, the word Liberty, and the motto "In God We Trust." And it's clear enough to be visible to the naked eye. Coins with this error are very valuable, even in the poorest condition. Values for circulated examples start at $1,200. A brown coin in about uncirculated, AU55, condition is valued at $2,650 by the PCGS. Values for mint state coins start at $2,850 for a brown example. Red and brown coins are more expensive, with a value of $3,250 at MS60. And a red coin at the same grade is valued a shade higher, at $3,350. The finest red pennies with this error to have been assessed by the PCGS are graded MS65+. There are 2 of these in existence, and today they're valued at $288,000 apiece. 9. 1958 double die obverse. In the world of rare error coins, there aren't many rarer than the 1958 double die obverse. More than 252 million wheat pennies were struck in Philadelphia that year. And of all those coins, just 3 have been found with doubling on the obverse. The doubling here is crisp and clear. It's apparent throughout the lettering of "In God We Trust," as well as the word liberty. The PCGS has graded 2 of those coins at MS64. And today, it values them at $340,000 apiece. But the creme de la creme is a single coin graded MS65. And the value of that? According to the PCGS, it's a breathtaking $1,140,000. 10. 1943, bronze cent. What makes this error coin so unusual is the planchet on which it's struck. In 1943, most cents were struck on steel planchets. That was because the copper and nickel used in previous years was needed for munitions to help fight the Second World War. But at the end of 1942, a few of the bronze planchets used for that year's pennies were caught in the trap doors of the bins used to feed blanks into the coin presses. No one noticed them when the bins were refilled with the steel planchets for the following year. They were eventually struck and released into the world amongst the millions of zinc pennies. Weirdly, the same error happened at all 3 mint facilities that were striking pennies that year. Between 10 and 15 examples are known to have been struck at Philadelphia, around 6 at San Francisco, and just 1 at Denver. As ever, values of this error coin vary according to color and condition. The lowest graded example to have been assessed by the PCGS is a brown code graded extremely fine XF45. That's valued at $215,000. Only 1 red example is known to exist, and that's graded MS63. The PCGS sets its value at a cool $1 million. 11. 1943, experimental shell case cent. 1943 saw a few other cents struck in bronze of slightly different compositions. These were experiments, rather than errors, but they're still very cool coins. Experts can tell the difference between these and the rare 1943 bronze error pennies by looking at the color of the metal and the characteristics of the strike. The experimental coins may have weak strikes as a result of the new alloy not taking the design as well. Some of these coins are museum pieces. One example struck in 91.7% copper, 7.5% zinc and 0.8% silver today resides in the Edward C. Rachette Money Museum in Colorado Springs. If you find one of these coins, they're very valuable. The precise value will depend on the quality of the coin, but a conservative estimate would be around $150,000. 12. 1983 penny struck on the wrong planchet error. This deviation, which is found in Philadelphia and Denver minted coins, is hallmarked by a difference in color and weight. A correct penny should weigh 2.5 grams. A 1983 Philadelphia penny that is struck on a bronze planchet weighs about 3.10 grams. As for the 1983 D penny struck on a brass planchet, it's also heavier at 3 grams. Apart from the weight, a penny struck on the wrong planchet will have a different color. It won't be the red or reddish-brown shade you'll find in a copper penny. This is by far one of the most expensive errors found in 1983 pennies. A Philadelphia minted coin with this mistake has sold for a whopping $33,000. 13. Penny 1982 small date copper. Can you imagine a penny worth $1 million just floating around in circulation? Of course, you've got to know what you're looking for, because to the unaided eye, this rare penny might not look or feel any different than the highly common zinc 1982D small date pennies. How to find the rare 1982D small date copper penny? You're probably wondering if it's easy to find a rare 1982 copper penny like this small date variety. Only 2 have been discovered so far, but relatively few people take time to really search their 1982 pennies, too. If you're diligent, you might find a 1982D small date copper penny or another valuable era coin like it. So, if you find a 1982D penny, keep it. And remember, the D mint mark from Denver must be under the date. If there's no D mint mark on your 1982 penny, there's no chance that it's the rare one. You'll also need weigh all of your 1982D pennies. The most efficient, foolproof method is to check them each on a coin scale. 1982 small date penny versus 1982 large date penny numerals. And what about the small date? How can you tell a 1982D small date penny from a 1982D large date penny? You've got to check the alignment of the tops of each numeral and the date to see if you've got a small date or large date penny. On a 1982D large date penny, the tops of the 9 and 8 in the 1982 date will appear higher than the 1 and the 2. On a 1982D small date penny, the tops of all the numerals appear to be aligned, and the bottoms of the 1, 8, and 2 will also appear in alignment. Once you get used to looking at 1982 large date versus small date pennies, you'll be able to tell them apart from a mile away. In 1982, the quality of the strikes declined and changes were made to the obverse legends, including the date, to allow faster production of the zinc pennies. In Denver, the small date subtype was introduced after the remaining bronze plates were made. All surviving 1982D small date bronze cents are transition alloy errors, cousins of the famous 1943 bronze cents. So like the famous 1943 bronze cents, the 1982D small date memorial cents are extremely rare. And worth $1 million. 14. 1974 D mint mark aluminum penny value. Here comes another rarity. Similar to the 1974 no mint mark aluminum penny, there are only 1 or 2 known units of the 1974 D mint mark aluminum penny. These pennies share the same interesting history. However, unlike the no mint mark variant, these pennies were not produced in large quantities. Back when the aluminum variant of the Lincoln penny was in consideration, roughly 10 to 20 units were produced at the Denver Mint. They were supposed to serve as samples to Congress and were supposed to be recollected and destroyed when the suggestion was dismissed. But they suffered a similar fate as that of the Philadelphia aluminum pennies. Some of the distributed pennies never returned. In 2014, Randall Lawrence showed up with this rare 1974 penny and put it up for auction. He had inherited this coin from his father, Harry Lawrence, who was an official at the Denver Mint. Since his father had legally acquired this coin and defied no law as he transferred it to his son, it didn't make sense for the government to interfere. But soon, the U.S. Mint claimed the coin as stolen property and a legal suit prevailed between the U.S. Mint and Randall Lawrence. The outcome of this legal fight was in the favor of the U.S. Mint. Randall Lawrence didn't get to earn much from his valuable 1974 D aluminum penny and surrendered it to the Mint in 2016. Currently, it is known as the Lawrence specimen and has a valuation of $3 million. Plus, it's graded MS63. Costly mistakes. That brings us to the end of our search for the most valuable Lincoln penny errors. We hope you've enjoyed learning about these interesting coins, and how they came to be made. The Mint doesn't often make mistakes, but when they do, the resulting coins are catnip for collectors. So it's worth looking closely at your Lincoln pennies for signs of doubling, repunched mint marks, or even unusual metal planchets. Find any of these, and you could be in the money.
Brought forth the discussion of my father again with my children who never had an opportunity to meet him. So to bring out old photos of Dad and talk about this coin and what he did in his life was great from a family standpoint. From my standpoint as a real estate broker in La Jolla, I'm being able to give back to the community that I just moved to, and thank them for welcoming us as a family into the area. So it means a lot. It seems like it was meant for us to move here, for all of this to happen suddenly. You know, a treasure in the attic story, of winning the lottery kind of thing. It's exciting, very exciting.